Over the weekend, 2 banks failed, and the federal government took over the entities, and now the president, in making an address to the public, has stated that there needs to be additional regulation to prevent something like this from happening again. The president in his address talked about how taxpayers would not be liable directly for what some are calling a bailout, others are not, and that's one of the things that, or one of the issues that's come up, is determining whether or not this is actually a bailout. The president also called for CEOs of these companies to be terminated and individuals in charge of the firms, and just to ensure additional oversight over these banks. So there's additional scrutiny on the Federal Reserve currently, as it's been increasing interest rates, and the responsibility of the federal government now we'll see as the Federal Reserve determines whether or not to raise interest rates. The Treasury, Federal Reserve, FDIC, and other agencies have been in lockstep in terms of the decision-making process and are trying to address this as a government-wide entity, and the president is trying to be the face of all of this. The president wouldn't want this on his plate because he is potentially running for re-election and has made that almost totally clear. And we're also at a time facing a debt ceiling negotiation, which is inevitably going to become protracted. The issue is topical right now because we just witnessed the Supreme Court argue over whether or not student loans should be forgiven to some degree, while at the same time we're seeing this argument over whether or not some wealthy depositors are getting a potential bailout, depending on the definition of the term, through their risky deposits. And we'll see more questions about the issue of fairness as this crisis unfolds.